Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. Happy Sunday. I was just wanting to talk a little bit about prayer and the power it has in my life, and just how I lean on that as a mode of strength, and how it can help pull you through these tough times. It's an awkward subject. Anytime you bring God into the mix or prayer, it usually gets people riled up one way or the other. Even if you're religious, then other people who talk about it, they're not doing it right, and it's just an area of lots of conflict. It's a tumultuous subject, obviously, but I don't know. I think it's real important these days because the world is obviously on fire in so many different ways, and that really doesn't seem to be changing. In fact, it seems to be increasing, and the dangers lurking of it escalating to places that are hard to fathom is certainly with us. So I just want to share what I do to keep a positive mental attitude and to just keep a good frame for this day. And for me, the number one thing, I'm out here exercising now, and exercise is huge, and breath and diet and all that stuff is massive, but prayer is really the foundation, and a relationship. Look at these ducks. Look at you. Wow, that's kind of beautiful. So anyway, not to freak the ducks out or the humans out, but let's talk prayer. So when you get up, and you need a foundation. That's just the fact. You might find your foundation on the internet. It might first thing in the morning. What do? Is it social media? Is it texting someone? Is it turning on the TV? It can be exercise or whatever you lean on. But for me, leaning on prayer or leaning on God as I understand Him is a foundation that never abandons me and always invites me into a sort of deeper place within. And so for me, and through just all the different stations of life, it's always been there. It's unchanging. So I'm social media, I used to have much more sort of love on social media, but these things can abandon you if you don't say the right thing. They exit stage left. Your career can fold on you. A relationship can fold on you. Physical fitness, your body could give out. The only thing that will never give out that's what you need to look at. And that's that interconnection or the connection you have with God. That's constant. That's where I want to invest myself into. And then from that structure, or from that foundation rather, that's a strong foundation for me then to build everything else in my life. If I have that foundation, it enables me to remain courageous to speak my voice, because I'm not dependent on social media as an example as my sort of spiritual foundation, which sounds kind of ridiculous to say that, but I think a lot of people are using that as their foundation. Certainly the world, the material world, will angle you in that direction. But that's a house of cards. That's a house of cards. Either you get banned off of it for wrong think and wrong speak, or you can only say a significantly shrinking box narrative. a narrative that only fits in a significantly shrinking box, rather. So, but it doesn't even have to be social media. It could be a relationship. It could be your career. I mean, I've leaned on all these things in the past as my center foundation, and they all let you down. And it's not because they're bad. It's because you've put them in a place they don't belong. And it's like Bob Dylan says, it may be the devil or it may be the Lord, but you got to serve somebody. And that's just the nature of being a human. We're out here, we're vulnerable creatures in this wild realm, on this wild planet. It's heading our way towards old age, and we're vulnerable in all kinds of ways. And if you have that foundation in prayer, it's an unbelievable amount of strength. The other thing that's great with prayer is you can just try it. I mean, I remember the first time I appealed to God in a significant way when I was an adult. I didn't really believe it while I was appealing or while I was praying, and in hindsight, everything I really prayed for in a real way came to pass. I've since learned that it's enormously powerful in your world, in your life. The funny thing too is like atheists sort of appeal to this like rational mind state. Like, that's all magical thinking. I get it. It's bizarre to think that God is real. That I understand that. I think a lot of people of faith understand the bizarreness of this whole equation. But think of the options. They're all bizarre. So, okay, if you're an atheist and you're framing this in a supposedly completely rational way, that means you think something came from nothing. That's the opposite of rational thought. Something doesn't come from nothing. So no matter where you turn to in your sort of philosophy, it's a stretch. It's like, oh, the Big Bang. Well, then the Big Bang came from somewhere. Where did that come from then? I mean, we are here. We are created. We are intricate. We are really well ordered. I mean, I realize our world is chaotic, but the structure of our existence is extraordinarily well ordered. I mean, it's meticulous. Doesn't seem like chaos to me. So if I'm to just use my rational thought about all this, to me, my rationality points to a God and creation. And if you disagree with that, that's fine. I'm not mad at you. Dude, it's all understandable. It's like whatever, even if you're an atheist, I don't agree with that. It seems irrational to me, but we could still be friends. Like I'm sure I have good friends that are atheists and think I'm nuts for talking about prayer or whatever. That's fine. We don't have to agree all the time, and we don't have to be at war because we see things differently. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to point people in the direction of things that help me out. I talk about getting out and exercising a lot, but one thing I don't talk a lot about is prayer. And I would say prayer is the biggest foundation of my strength. Plain and simple. So, try it out. What do you got to lose? See if it works. Do a little experiment and have an amazing, amazing day. God bless.